Okay, welcome everybody. I'm calling the meeting to order. As always, there's corrections to the agenda. The first correction is under board appointments where it says set second tax notice fee. That really isn't a board appointment. It is a board action. That's where I put it. That's one change. The second change is under number 2 for rules of procedure. You know, I'm still in 2023, but it should be town village 2024 meetings. And then the third correction is number 5, set mileage allowance. The 2024 rate should be 67 cents instead of the 65.5 that I put twice. Okay. All right. So again, welcome everybody. And oh, there's Bill and Shelby. Hi. Okay. The first item is supervisor's appointments. The first appointment I am making is deputy supervisor, Jim Smith. And he has graciously agreed to serve again. Speak or forever hold your peace. Is that what they say?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
So thank you, Jim, for all your work as deputy supervisor and your willingness to continue.
We discussed it in bylaws.
Don't put that in a minute.
Too late.
Okay, historian, I'm appointing Linda Casserly for next year. Thank you. Fire wardens, Mike McQuaid and Eric Johnson have been our 2 fire wardens, so they've both graciously agreed to continue. Board committee assignments, you all received a copy of the my assignments. There are 2 changes, and I'll just point those out and not go through the whole list. So the first change is under justice. That'll be Brown and Tile. I am stepping down from that committee. Thank you, Randy, for willingness to step up on that one. And then Sustainability Committee Liaison. I am going to be serving in that capacity for 2024. Bob, thank you for serving this past year in that. So those are the committee changes. Everything else stayed the same. Okay. All right, board appointments. We just have one. Ian McKellar, I spoke with him to inquire if he's still interested in serving as chairperson, and he said he is willing to serve another year. He felt that, you know, they got a good thing going with the planning board, and he's willing to serve. So I would need a motion to appoint Ian McKellar as planning board chairperson.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Carried. And we appreciate his service. So I'm gonna just pop in there under like a new business item. We need to set the second tax notice fee of $2. Heidi, do you want to add anything about that?
We just do this every year. Typically, we do it in like March, but we just felt it would be easier just to do it in the organizational meeting. But we do it every year.
So just keep it on the organizational
Yeah,
agenda.
and it's always been $2.
Okay. So I need a motion to set that tax notice fee.
So moved.
John, is there a second?
I second.
Any further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Okay, rules of procedure. Set dates, time, place for the 2024 regular board meetings. You know, we set the second Wednesday of each month. Does the board want to continue with that at 6 p.m. in the boardroom? Is there a motion for that?
So
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. All right, proposed dates for joint town village 2024 meetings. As you know, and have participated, we have quarterly meetings with the village and then any other meetings necessary with the village, but
Make
the,
another change? Shouldn't that be 10/24?
Yeah.
no, that's the date, October 23rd.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so, so January 24th, April 24th, July 24th, and then October 23rd.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, thanks.
I know, that was weird how that was doing it. So, are we good with that?
Sure.
Would somebody like to make a motion for those proposed dates?
So moved, sorry, so moved.
Is there
Second.
questions or comments?
Questions, yes. So the village is on board with these dates.
We talked about them at the building committee level. So, I'm assuming it will be on their agenda as well.
And we were all putting them in our phones at that point.
Oh, shoot.
I'm sorry, John, I didn't hear you.
I just told Bob we were all putting them in our phones at that meeting,
Yeah,
so.
Can you just clarify the time for the record, when they're gonna start, 6 o'clock? Do you not know that?
we've had them at 6 PM
They've been at 6,
Yes.
yeah.
unless otherwise noted. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. All right, designation of official newspaper. So this past year, we designated, North Country This Week in the Watertown Times. I believe last year we did have discussion as far as the St. Lawrence Plain Dealer as well. So I'm throwing that, throwing that out to the board on that. So when we send out legal notices, we send them out to the two, Watertown Times and North Country This Week.
Okay.
And it is quite costly, to be honest with you, when we do that. So I'm opening it up for discussion. And the Plain Dealer is still under as the Watertown.
Right,
Times, right,
yeah.
as the parent company.
Yeah,
Okay,
So doesn't that effectively do the same thing?
having it as Watertown Times, I feel it does.
I'd say stick with both of those and that'd be it.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay. So there's a-
Second, I'll second that.
Okay, so there's a motion for, North Country This Week and Watertown Times as the official newspapers. And there's a second, John, you seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Okay, official bank depository. Community Bank has been with us for years and years and years. How many years? I don't know.
And then years after,
Yeah, goes way back.
years,
St.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
at least 40.
They do a,
St. Lawrence National first, right?
they do a great job for us, you know. Angela, would you agree?
I would agree, yes.
Yes. So is there a motion to continue with Community Bank as the official bank depository? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Any further discussion or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. All right, mileage allowance. Right now, we've been paying 65.5 cents. We did get a letter from our labor attorney indicating that it is going up to 67 cents per mile. So I open it up to the board if you want to increase the mileage allowance to match the IRS rate.
I'll make a motion to increase it to the IRS rate. Or to make it in line with the IRS rate, I should say it that way.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion, questions, comments?
So just comment. So we've always done that, done it with the IRS rate anyways, correct?
I think the past couple years we did, but we haven't always followed that, except for the past couple years we have.
All right.
I just want a town car. That's over the bridge.
Does Lincoln still
Town
make,
cars over the bridge?
does Lincoln still make a town car?
Is that we have to park here?
No, you have to go to Corsair or something.
Oh, not that kind of town car. No.
You're not going down.
Any further comments or discussion?
Get her a moped.
Get a moped, yeah.
Metropolitan.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Okay, procurement policy. I sent you an updated, a revised, policy with 2 changes. One is to change the word oral to verbal and then make it an A instead of an and. And then we added a proposed number 6. The town highway superintendent is allowed to make decisions for spending up to 15,000 without town board approval for the operations of the highway department. We had already at a separate meeting,
We already made that change.
we already made that change, yes. But now here's the official. And then Bob, you sent the board an idea.
Yeah, in my mind, I thought we should include, I know it's written elsewhere, but based on how number 5 is, or number 6 is written, I think we should still add it, just to be clear, just to be crystal clear. A statement that all purchases must not exceed the adopted budget. And I just think that that just further protects, the budget that we have in place.
So that would be a number 7.
No, I think that's just additional language
In 6.
in 6,
Oh,
just additional language attached to 6 as part of that statement. I don't think it needs to be a 7.
but wouldn't that pertain to everybody, not just the highway superintendent?
That is a question I had on your note, but
I mean, it would, absolutely,
So,
but
Or 7.
because
We
of,
could-
what we could just, I mean, a 7 isn't gonna hurt it any, I guess, in that respect, it's gonna be fine.
say all procurements should,
whatever he said.
Yeah, all purchases must not exceed the adopted budget.
So that would be a number 7.
not apply for everybody, not just highway.
Correct.
Okay, so is there a motion for those 3 changes in the procurement policy that we just discussed?
Good idea, Bob.
So moved.
Second,
All right, any further discussion? Comments? Okay, so we'll add a number 7. And then you emailed us that,
Yep.
so I'll add it in and then we'll,
You want to vote?
yep, yep. All in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. Okay. The next item is approved contracts. We have 4 of them. The board did discuss this during budget development. So this is just a formality now. All those retainers are in the packet online. So do we want to do these one at a time or do them all together?
Do them all together.
Yeah.
Fine with me.
Is there a motion to approve these 4 contracts?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carry. Okay. I see Bill's on here. Hi, Bill. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
So, anything you want to update? Is there anything you need to update us on, Bill?
There's 3 items that I think you should hear about. The first is that the Office of Renewable Energy Siting has determined the EDF application to be complete. So that announcement's been made. The impact of that with respect to Canton is that our planned zoning amendments, which have not been passed into law at this point, will not apply to the EDF project, in my opinion. I believe that they're prior in time with their permit application. And our regulations, which are passed after that point, will not apply to them. So that's number one. Number two, we received reporting, and I have to thank Bob Washoe for that. He found a rather obscure article and sent it around. I've passed that along to you folks, as well as the village mayor and the fire department, where the state has conducted a study where they've determined that battery storage, large-scale battery storage, is essentially safe, which I would disagree with. But they have their blue ribbon panel of experts who will opine on that. As you know, I have drafted a letter to ORES suggesting that we conduct some studies to try to add data to that issue. There's a working group that the mayor has put together. I will ask the working group whether or not we want to pursue those studies and to continue on with that analysis. In light of the fact that the state has come out, I don't know what the end result of that will be, but I doubt we will prevail in terms of our issues being examined in the full light of day. It would be experts versus experts. So I'm a little bit perturbed to see that development. Of course, all we know is that it's coming. We haven't seen the actual document. We can't really respond with any kind of particularity. So I'm disappointed to have the governor come out and declare it safe. And then third, we received a notice that EDF is rebidding the sale of its renewable energy credits to NYSERDA, which I believe the root cause of that are the current interest rates. So NYSERDA is apparently willing to pay more to encourage the large-scale developments. And that's really what the sale of the credits is all about. So the state has taken 3 steps to advance the Rich Road project, all of which are important for us to understand and which put me in a difficult position in terms of advancing the agenda that we have discussed as a board and as a committee. But we will soldier on and continue to address these issues as they come. But we're in a much different posture now that there's a complete application. So that's the summary of the recent events. Any questions, things that you want to discuss?
Can you just list who's in the working group? For the-
Jim Smith sits on the group. Eric Gustafson is in the group. Myself, Adam Silver, counsel to the village, Mayor Dalton, Anna Sorensen, the fire chief, Mr. Crow, and I believe the village DPW superintendent, whose name escapes me.
Bob Sanmore would be on that too.
And
He's out.
Tim Bacon is the village superintendent.
So we had a meeting. We've circulated a letter to determine what are our concerns about battery storage. I would sum them up as, I hope it doesn't burn. If it does, there's nothing that can be done about it. What about the smoke? What about the water? What about the waste that comes off the fire? The state has apparently determined that the fire and the fumes and the smoke are not an issue, that the batteries are safe and unlikely to burn in the first place, that our fire departments are perfectly adequate to respond. And I've already drafted a letter point by point saying that we disagree with all of those determinations. And we would like to study the issue ourselves. What happens to all the water when you pour it on the fire? And isn't there a better battery technology out there than something that's going to burn uncontrollably for days? So my own personal belief and hope is that the transportation sector will generate better battery technology. And before this is said and done, there will be a permit condition that says you have to use the best available technology to store your energy, whatever that may be. That's essentially what I believe we should be advocating. Whether or not we'll be successful at that, the hill just got a lot steeper when the state has come out and pronounced it safe. So it's disappointing that that would happen, but I can't say that I'm surprised.
Bill, you don't think that the state will entertain an independent view on this? Because in my mind, every single agency that was listed that took part in this all work for the state of New York.
Really?
Yeah, shocker, right? So there's nothing independent about that as far as I'm concerned.
I believe that our best course of action is to recommend independent engineering analysis on those points of interest and to bring the information to the application. That's what our participation is all about, is to make a more complete record. So to have an independent analysis, I think would be helpful and would aid in generating a better record and perhaps some better ideas. And that's where I believe we as a group, as a committee, as a town and village, I believe that's what we will ultimately advocate. But I'd really like to convene that group again to, in light of this development, to determine how the group believes we should move forward. Because I'm kind of at a loss at this point as to how we should proceed.
We've got a regular board meeting next week.
Then the
We'll,
joint meeting,
what?
then the joint meeting at the end of the month.
Right, well, I mean, Bob and I will talk about it, Bill, and we'll see if maybe we can get a meeting scheduled.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later, at least of our committee.
Yeah.
And then, you can reach out to the mayor on their end of it for the Canton Fire Department part of it, so. All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for those updates.
Thanks, Bill.
That's,
You're welcome.
it's also interesting. I'll just leave it at that. All right, with that
Hang in
being, what'd he say?
I don't know.
I said, hang in there. Thank you all.
Yep,
Thanks, Bill.
okay,
Thanks, Bill.
right, Bill.
Happy New Year, Bill.
That's good to know, because, I use a lot of these, handheld cordless tools that use
Yeah.
lithium ion batteries. And you open up the booklet and the very first thing is, it tells you all about the dangers of the batteries.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're not. That's focus, must be.
Yeah, they're just making stuff up.
They're fine. So it says that they give off toxic gases and that you shouldn't burn them, but now I can just, one goes bad, I'll just chuck it in the wood stove, it's fine.
I am making a motion to adjourn at 5:24. Is there a second?
I'll start.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Oh, Lord. I would not, however, recommend that.